Good. All right. So today we're going to start to talk about the last thing that was in chapter 10. And actually, there were a couple of questions on that test about it, but we didn't get a chance to cover it in class last week. If you already took the test, you notice most of it was about conditionals, if, and all of the different kinds of conditionals. But there were a couple of questions on that test about something that we didn't talk about last night, and I want to talk about it tonight because it's the last thing in the level 4 book. The last thing in the level 4 book, and actually, I think if you look at do you all still have this? See what I'm showing you?
Yeah.
Your skill checklist?
Yes.
Yes. So if you see what we did, what were we looking at? In level 4, look what we need to know. We need to know if and will to express a condition. That's level 4, right? And in level 5, what do you need to know? If and will, if and past and would. And then level 6, you need to know all of the conditionals. All right? But there's one more thing in the chapter that we need to cover as well. And I want to cover that tonight. And that is the different ways to use auxiliary verbs to make a question. Okay? So I'm gonna put everybody on mute for a second, and I'm going to do a little presentation, and then we're gonna practice. All right, sounds good?
Right?
All right, so we're going into silent mode here for a second, and just give me a few minutes to give this presentation, and then we're gonna practice together. Okay, so bye-bye noise. See you later. All right. All right, and everybody can still hear me, yes? Thumbs up? Thumbs up. All right, very good, very good. Okay, so let me share my screen for you. If I can find the screen I want to share. I always have too many screens up here. Let me see here. ¿Dónde está? Oh, I don't have it up. Let me see here. Okay, let me see here. All right, and here we go. All right, so the last lesson, and this is what I sent you the video about. The last lesson in the book is about what we call tag questions. So let's have a little presentation about that tonight, and then we'll move on from there. So let's talk about this. There were a couple of questions on the test in it. Tag questions and other auxiliary verbs. All right, so first we have to understand our auxiliary verbs because there are many different auxiliaries in English. Right? There are 4 groups of auxiliary verbs that we have to know. Before we can worry about anything else, we have to know the groups of auxiliaries. We have the auxiliaries that have be, right? Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been. We have the auxiliaries with do, does, did, right? Simple past, simple present. We have the have auxiliaries for the perfect, present perfect and past perfect, right? Have, has, and had. And we have our modals. Can, could, shall, should, may, might, must, will, would. And let's talk about each group one by one, and then we'll get into how to use them. But first, let's look at them one by one. Be. Be is the first auxiliary you learn way back in level 1. Of course, what do we use be for in level 1? We use it for continuous verbs, right? Example, Fred is looking for his keys. Present continuous. Or David was sleeping when I got home. Past continuous. But remember in level 4, we learned passive. We also use be for passive. For example, the mail is delivered every afternoon at this time. That's our passive verb. The coffee was being made when I got to the office today. Was being made. Again, that's a past tense passive. This one happens to be past continuous passive. Okay, no problem so far? No problem, good. All right, let's look at do. When do we use do? Easy. Simple present, simple past. That's it, right? Simple present, simple past. But notice my little note. Do auxiliaries are unique because they are not usually used in affirmative sentences, only in questions and negatives. So here's our simple present. Do you have time to help us today? Henry doesn't live here anymore. Question, negative, do, and does. Simple past, only one, right? Did and didn't. Did Amelia finish her project on time? I didn't understand the last paragraph that I read. Did and didn't, past tense question, past tense negative. Claudia, do you have a question? Maybe? Everything okay? All right. All right, next one, have. When do we use have? Perfect, right? Present perfect, past perfect. We talked about present perfect in the first week of the class. Past perfect, we talked about that in the second week.
Mr. Webb, I got a
Yes.
question. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Are you sharing your screen?
Pardon?
Are you sharing your screen?
Yes, you can't see it?
No, we cannot see anything that you're explaining us.
Oh, students, you can't see it all? All right. All right,
We only
hold on.
we-
You can't see anything?
No, because we only can see the ones that you're talking about, but we cannot see the sample examples or the.
Okay. All right. Well, let me try sharing again and see if we can get the examples up there. I don't know why that happened, but let's see what we can do. Oh, I see. We have some messages. I can't see. I know. Does Mr. Webb is sharing something? Okay. All right. Let's try again. Let's try again. Okay. Let's start. Okay. Start from the current slide. All right. Let's see. Wait a minute. Not that one. Let's go back to the beginning. Start from beginning. Okay. All right. Can you see this? Let me turn on your microphone so make sure you can see this. Okay. All right, students. Hello. Welcome back.
Hello.
All right. Can you see this slide?
Yes.
Yes.
You see now?
Yes,
Yes?
I can.
Now we can see.
Okay. So, sorry. I apologize for that. I was giving my big explanation and nobody could see what I was explaining. That's no good. All right, there they are. Right? This is the first slide. This is the first slide. Can I turn off now?
Yes.
All right, I'll go ahead and turn off the microphones and we'll get back to the explanation. I'm sorry about that, folks. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. All right. We have the be auxiliaries, the do auxiliaries, the have auxiliaries, and the modals. Those are the 4 kinds of auxiliary verbs that we have in English. am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Do, does, and did. Have, has, and had. And then all the modals: can, could, shall, should, may, might, must, will, and would. All right, so let's go through each one. Okay. In English, the be is used for two reasons as an auxiliary verb. Everybody can still see?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, good.
Yes.
All right. I'm getting nervous now. All right. Here we go. Continuous verbs, right? For example, Fred is looking for his keys. David was sleeping when I got home. Passive verbs. For example, the mail is delivered every afternoon at this time. Or the coffee was being made when I got to the office today. So that's our be. Am, is, are, was, were, will, be. Right? Continuous and passive. Continuous we learned in level 1. Passive we were introduced to in level 4. And if you're on new level 4, we're going to learn that probably next week. Our do auxiliaries. Do, did, does, right? And remember, they're unique because we only use affirmatives and, we only use question and negative, not in affirmative. So we're here, we have a question. Do you have some time? There's our negative. Henry doesn't live here anymore. Simple past. Did Amelia finish her project? I didn't understand the paragraph I read. And of course, remember with do, does, and did, we never change the verb. The verb is always base verb. No ing, no ed, no s, nothing, just the base verb. Okay? The have auxiliaries, that's our present perfect and past perfect, right? Perfect verb forms. For example, I have already done the laundry this week. Liz hasn't watched the video yet. And again, we always have our past participles with the perfect forms, right? Past perfect we learned last week, right? Had you visited Europe before last summer? By the time I got to the station, the train had already left. Past perfect. Have, has, had. Perfect auxiliaries. Modals. Now, modals are, in a way, the easiest because the form is always the same. But in a way, the most difficult because the meaning is a little bit different with each modal. Right? Remember, auxiliaries never change form, no matter the subject, and they are used to change the meaning, not the time of the action. Alberta can speak English very well. Ability. You must pay the bill today. Obligation. Shall we meet at Starbucks before the movie? Suggestion. My son should study more, but he's a little lazy. Advice. Would you like anything to drink? Invitation. I might wear the blue dress to the party. Possibility. Right? So all of these are what we call modal auxiliaries. It doesn't matter if it's singular or second person or first person or plural. It's all the same. Never change a modal. All right? So now let's get to why we use them. So we have the 4 kinds. We have present, we have do, we have be, we have modal, and we have have. But we use them all for different reasons. And let's look at all of the reasons right now. Number 1, to use an auxiliary verb. And this is very hard for people who speak Spanish because auxiliary verbs are not really part of Spanish. You don't change around a sentence to make a question. It's just, you just say the sentence in a little bit different way, right? But we use them for questions. We use them for negatives. We use them to make short answers. We use them to make comparisons. We use them for emphasis. And finally, the one that we're going to concentrate on tonight, tag questions. Tag questions. But let's look at these one by one, and then we'll practice them one by one. How do we use auxiliaries to make a question? Here's our question form, right? We put the auxiliary in front of the subject most of the time. Most of the time. And that's a very hard habit for people who speak Spanish to make. To put, what did he say? Where are they going? Etc., etc. Put that auxiliary verb in front of the subject. What are you doing? Where can we park? When did you get back home? Have you ever been to the Statue of Liberty? And remember, with simple present and simple past, we always use a base form in a question. We've been practicing that a lot, but let's practice it a little bit together. So I'm going to stop the share for a second and put your microphones back on. Okay, let me put those mics back on. All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So were you able to see the whole presentation?
Yes.
Yes. Good. All right. So here's what I want to do. I want to practice asking questions. So I'm going to make a set statement with a missing element. And I want you to ask me a question with what or who or where or when or why. For example, if I say, Jose went somewhere. What's the question?
Where
did
Jose went?
He go, right? Where did he go? Right? That's the English question, right? All right, everybody got the idea? Yes, sir.
I have a question. Yajaira is saying to me, she's trying to log in. Have you sent the invitation to her?
I can send it to her right now.
Yes, because she's been texting me. She has been trying to log in, but she can.
All right. So let me text her right now. Thank you for bringing that up. Yahaira, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Get the invitation. Okay. Here's our invitation. Copy the message. Okay. Thank you for being patient, students.
No problem.
This is one of the problems of having an online class. People get trapped on the outside. Okay, let me see here. Okay.
But at least we have classes.
At least we have classes, that's right. Okay, we're looking for Yahaira. Huh? You know, I don't think I have Yahaira's phone number. I don't see her. I don't see Yahaira's number here. Let me see if I can find it. No, I don't. Armando, do you have her number?
Yeah.
Let me send you the invitation. You can forward it to her, okay?
Okay.
I'm texting it to you right now.
All right.
Okay, Armando. Armando, you're 323-803-350-305, right?
Yeah, 5305. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm sending you the invitation and you can send it to Yahaira.
Okay, I'll do it right now.
Okay, thanks. All right, anyway, so like I said, I'm gonna ask you a question with something missing. And you're gonna ask the question back to me, okay? Everybody got it?
Yes.
All right, let's start with Isadora. Isadora, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I'm looking for something. I'm looking for something.
I need to
Ask me a question.
oh,
You say what?
what are you looking for?
Exactly. What are you looking for, right? That's present continuous question. So she uses are you in the question, right? All right. Jose.
Yes.
My uncle has been a carpenter for a long time. So ask us how long?
How long has your uncle has been a carpenter?
How long has your uncle been a carpenter, right? We put the has on one side and the been on the other, right?
Mhm.
How long has your uncle been a carpenter? Very good. Noel, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's see. I ate something for dinner.
What did you eat?
What did you eat? Simple past. Very good. Did you? David Esvela. Are you there, David? Maybe not. All right. How about Rosendo?
Yes.
Rosendo, you're there? I can help you sometime next week.
Cool.
Ask me with when.
When can you help me?
When can you help me? I can help you on Tuesday, right? Let's see, Leonardo.
Okay.
I get up at the same time every morning.
What are you get up?
No, we're talking about the time, so we want to start with what time.
What time are
Do you usually
get up?
Should we say are you or do you in this case?
Do you
It's a do
get
you
up?
question, right?
do you usually get up?
Yeah, what time do you usually get up?
Do you get up all morning?
Every morning, yeah. What time do
Every
you
morning?
usually get up? What time do you usually get up? Very good. All right, let's see. How about Claudia? Are you ready, Claudia?
Yes.
I paid a lot of money for this jacket.
How much did you
How
pay?
much did you pay?
Pardon?
How much do you pay?
Did you pay?
How much did you pay? All right, how much did you pay for the jacket? Simple past question. Did you base form, right?
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Jennifer, many people are angry about something. Many people are angry about something.
How many people are
You could say that. How many people are angry? That would make sense. All right. Good. Julio.
Yes.
Felix lost something.
What did Felix lost?
What did he lose, right? We want to change to our base form again. What did he lose? Base form, did.
What did he lose?
What did he lose? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Webb, can you hear me?
Well, yes.
Can you hear me, Mr. Webb? I'm David. Sorry, I don't know what happened with the microphone.
Oh, it's working now. All
yeah,
right.
it's working now. Yeah,
Okay, you want your question, David?
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. My brother has a medical problem. Ask me with what kind?
What kind has
problem?
your brother had?
He has a medical problem. You say, what kind of problem?
Does
What
your
kind of
brother
problem have your brother had?
Does he have, right?
Does he?
Does
Oh,
he have?
Yeah, simple present. What kind of problem does he have? My brother has a medical problem. Oh, really? What kind of problem does he have?
okay.
All right. Armando,
Yes, sir.
the kids are going somewhere.
Where are the kids going?
Where are the kids going? Very good. Present continuous. All right. Let's see. Jose Garcia, did I already ask you a question?
Yeah, you did already, but
Okay, all right.
you can ask me already.
Are you ready for another one? Okay, we'll give you another one.
Recomiendo, Jose.
All right. How about Peter is writing a letter to somebody.
Is Peter writing a letter?
To somebody. Let's have a who question.
Who? Peter writing a letter to somebody? Did Peter write a letter for somebody?
No. I have present continuous, right? And we're gonna ask a who.
Oh,
Who is he writing the letter to?
writing a letter?
Yeah, who is he writing the letter to? Right. That's what that one's a tricky one. See, you get a second question. It's hard, right? Who is he writing the letter to? Who is he writing the letter to?
It's kind of this. It's kind of saying like, who do you live with?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, put that preposition at the end.
Yeah.
All right, Ching, are you there, Ching?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I bet you're tired, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Working hard at the hospital.
I'm very busy right now.
Yeah, I bet. I'm sure. It's crazy there, I suppose.
Yeah, very crazy.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let's see. My daughter is going to the movies with somebody.
My daughter going to meet somebody. Who?
Where?
Are you there?
Where?
Well, I said my daughter is going to the movies with somebody. So that's present continuous going to, right? Who is she going with, right?
Where is she going with?
Who is she going to the movies with?
Or who is
Right?
she going to
Con
the
quién?
movie with?
Con quién?
Who is she
Who is she going to the movie with?
going to the movie?
Who is she going to the movie with? It's not so easy making a question in English. Yeah, it's one of the hardest parts of English, believe me, this making a question, because it's not natural for anybody who speaks Spanish to do it this way. It's crazy. I know. Let's see. David Segovia, are you ready for a question?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, let's see. How about this one? My watch is somewhere.
Where is your watch?
Where is your watch?
Exactly. Where is your watch? Okay, Elita.
Yes.
Let's see. My friends are doing something wrong.
What are your friends doing?
What are they doing? Exactly.
What are they doing?
What are your friends doing? Sure. And Rita. Let's see, Rita. Let's see. My dog destroyed something.
What did your dog destroy?
What did your dog destroy? Exactly. Past tense question with did. Right? So that's how we make a question most of the time in English. Question word, auxiliary. That's the tricky part. And then the verb and the subject after that. So again, just to quickly share that screen with you one more time. Let's see, here we go. All right, let me open this up. All right, what does it say? Right? Question word, auxiliary, subject, and verb, right? Question word, auxiliary, subject, and verb. It's very hard to do because it's not natural. Why are we putting that word in front of the subject? It doesn't make any sense, but it's just one of the habits of English, right? And so we just have to get used to it, putting that auxiliary in front of the subject for our questions. Okay, good. Let's go to the next slide. Negative, a little easier because it sort of makes sense, but again, remember, this is where Spanish is not your friend, right? In Spanish, making a negative is very easy, right? You just put the word no in front of the verb and you're finished, right? In English, not so easy, right? Remember, especially with simple present and simple past. We got to use the word not, but sometimes we have to change the verb. Example, Michael isn't hungry right now. Everybody can see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
That's good. Okay. Ophelia can't swim. Negative. Mark doesn't enjoy violent movies. Doesn't. Marlena won't be at the meeting tonight. Won't. I went to the zoo, but I didn't go to the museum. Isn't, can't, doesn't, won't, didn't. Those are negative auxiliaries. So auxiliary is very important to make a negative. Now, sometimes we don't use auxiliaries. If we have a word like never, right? When we have the word never, we don't use auxiliary for negative, right? Or if you have the word rarely, you don't need an auxiliary. So sometimes I hear students say, I don't never. That's not right. We just say either I don't or I never.
Never.
But you can't say don't never. Either I don't eat meat, or I never eat meat. One or the other, but not together. Short answers. This is, again, what we practice since level 1, right? Do you have a cat? Yes, I do, right? Yes, I do. But we can also use a short answer to answer a question of who. For example, who broke the window? Rhonda did. So if I say, for example, students, who wants ice cream? What are you going to say?
I do one.
I do.
I do.
Right.
I do.
We wouldn't say I want. We say I do. Right? Who wants ice cream? I do. I do.
I do one.
Right? Or
Yes.
or who can help me tomorrow? And right? We don't say the whole verb. We just say the auxiliary verb when I answer a who question. Right? So simple past, simple present, do, does, did are our auxiliaries. Otherwise, the auxiliary is in the sentence, right? Comparisons. Now, we're gonna have a bigger, longer lesson about comparisons in the future. So this is like just a little brief introduction because our main topic tonight is the tag questions. But we use the auxiliary verbs for comparisons to avoid repeating the verbs. Example, Sandra plays the guitar better than I do. Sandra plays the guitar better than I do. Again, comparison. Instead of saying better than I play, I say better than I do. Wilmer lives in Echo Park, and Bernardo does too. Right? Remember to and either and neither that we learned in level 2 for the first time? I do too. Remember that? You are much taller than your sister is. You are much taller than your sister is. Now, of course, I don't have to say is. And most of the time I don't, right? Most of the time I just say you are taller than your sister. Punto, no más. It's okay, no problem. But if you want to have an auxiliary, you would use the same auxiliary as the verb. Greg has been working here longer than I have. Again, longer than I have been working here. But I don't need to say everything. I just say have. Victor can't swim, but his father can. We're going to have a whole big lesson about these comparisons on another evening, so I don't want to spend too much time on it tonight. But just know that do, does, did, can, could, have, we can use for comparisons. All right? And again, I'm going to have this PowerPoint is going to be in your notes for tomorrow anyway. Emphasis. Now this one is a funny one. Emphasis. When you want to make something very important, sometimes we use an auxiliary verb, and it looks very strange. It looks very strange. For example, sometimes we use an auxiliary verb to emphasize a point or correct a mistake. For example, Sandra says to her husband, "Why don't you like my new dress?" That's not true. I do like your dress. Right? You see what I say? Right? Usually we don't say do, right? Usually we just say I like your dress. But here I say it's not true. I do like your dress. I'm correcting somebody's mistake. Why don't you like my dress? What are you talking about? I do like your dress. Why didn't you clean out the garage yesterday, says my wife. I said, actually, I did clean it out. What are you talking about? Somebody is mistaken. Somebody is wrong. And I correct them with the emphatic form. Wow, that new employee does work hard, doesn't she? She does work hard, doesn't she? I do like pizza, don't I? Teacher says, students, you don't have to write in pen, but you do have to write neatly. You don't have to do this, but you do have to do that. So it's a little funny to see do, did, and does in affirmative. We almost never use it. But here's the emphatic form. The emphatic form with do, does, with did. Okay? Good. All right. Now, the main point of our lesson tonight. Tag questions. All right. Let's see what we can have here with tag questions. A tag question is used to verify information. And this is what is in chapter 10 of your book. So if you have a book, you can look at this in chapter 10. And this is the video that I sent you today about tag questions. For affirmative, the tag question uses the auxiliary verb, but in negative. Let's take a look. Brad is married, isn't he? Right? That's like saying, Brad's married. Verdad? Right? Brad's married, right? Brad's married, isn't he? Tom lives near the school, doesn't he? Again, simple present, doesn't. You're looking for a job, aren't you? Right? I'm verifying information. Shelley came to the meeting, didn't she? It was raining when you arrived, wasn't it? The girls have left, haven't they? So notice, it doesn't matter if it's a have or a be or a do or a does. You'll be in town this weekend, won't you? Affirmative statement, negative tag. Affirmative statement, negative tag. Now the negatives are just the opposite. Tag question negative. What do we have? Negative statement, affirmative tag. We use the affirmative auxiliary. You're not from LA, are you? Hector doesn't work on Saturdays, does he?
Okay.
Iris isn't living in Highland Park, is she? Brad didn't sell his car, did he?
Did he?
The dogs weren't fed, were they? You haven't seen my watch, have you?
Have you?
Greg won't forget about the meeting, will he?
Will he?
You can't swim, can you? We shouldn't be here, should he? That should be should we. Let me fix that right now. Oops. Okay. All right, anyway. All right, no problems?
No problem, teacher.
Everybody good?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, let's practice a little bit. Let's practice. I'm gonna make a statement and I want you to turn it into a tag question. So if I say, I like pizza, you're gonna say what?
Do
Do you like?
No, that's a regular question. We're gonna use a tag question.
Did
So
you?
you
you?
start with the statement. You like pizza, don't
Do
you?
I?
Don't you?
Right? You like pizza, don't you? Yeah, I like
Don't
pizza.
you?
Darn right, I like pizza. Right? You like pizza, don't you?
Don't you?
Don't you?
Right? So I'm going to make a statement. You change it into a tag. Okay?
Okay.
You change it into a tag. Okay? All right. Let me start this time with how about David Azuela?
Yes.
David, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Let's see. That computer is expensive.
Is expensive that computer? Isn't it?
Right, exactly. That computer is expensive, isn't it? Isn't it? Let's see. Edith.
Yes, teacher.
Elizabeth lives in Boyle Heights.
It's in Boyle Heights.
Isn't she?
No, is she? Is she?
Well,
Isn't she?
Elizabeth lives is simple present, right?
Does she?
Isn't she?
Does she?
Isn't she?
Does she?
Does she?
Does she?
Does she or doesn't?
Doesn't.
Doesn't.
Doesn't. Doesn't she?
Right. Elizabeth lives in Boyle Heights, doesn't she?
Doesn't she?
Elizabeth lives in Boyle Heights, doesn't she? Yep, that's right. You're right about that. Remember, I use these when I want to verify information. I think I know, in my mind, I think I know, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. So I have to ask. All right. Let's see. So I just did David, right? And David and Edith. And how about Rosendo? Are you ready, Rosendo?
Yes.
Let's see. I have a dog.
Do you?
But don't make a regular question. Make a tag question.
Don't you?
So what do we say? You have a
have a
dog. Start with the statement, right? You have a dog.
You?
Are you?
Do,
No, no, no.
Haven't
Don't
you?
you?
Don't you, right?
Don't you is
Yeah.
correct, sir.
Excuse me, teacher, you have a dog, don't you?
don't you?
Right? You have a dog, don't you? I think so, but I want to check. I want to check. All right. Leonardo,
Okay.
my birthday is in October.
Isn't? No.
Well, let's start with the statement. Start with the statement. Just say the sentence. Your birthday is in October.
Isn't it?
Do you?
No, 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 no. Your birthday is in October?
I
Your
do.
birthday
No,
is in October.
Isn't it?
Isn't it?
Isn't it?
There you go.
Isn't it?
Yeah, your birthday's in
Isn't it?
October, isn't it? That's right. It
Isn't
is
it?
in October. That's
Okay.
correct.
Isn't it?
All right. Noel,
Yes.
I don't like pickles.
Don't you?
You.
No, no.
Well, this one's
you?
negative, so we're going to have to change to affirmative,
you?
right? So
Do
start,
you?
Don't you?
hold on. Let's start with the statement. Let's start with the statement. So make a statement. You don't like pickles.
Don't you?
Don't you? Aren't you?
You don't like pickles, do you?
Do you?
Do you? There we go.
Do you?
Yeah, you don't like pickles, do you?
Do you?
Do you?
You don't like pickles, do you? Right? Don't, do. It's always the opposite, right? Whatever's in the front part has to be the opposite in the back. So if I say
Okay.
negative, you make affirmative. If I say affirmative, you make negative. Right? Got the idea?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's try Armando.
Yes, sir.
I have never visited Florida.
Have you visited?
Well, let's
Have
start
you?
with the statement. You
Do
You
you
haven't-
visit it?
No,
well,
no.
just
You
it's-
haven't.
You haven't
you?
visited Florida.
You haven't?
Have you?
You.
Haven't you?
Have you?
Have you?
You?
You haven't visited Florida, have you?
You haven't
Have
visited
you?
Florida, have you?
Right?
Yes.
You haven't visited Florida, have you? You haven't visited Florida, have you? All right. Let's see. How about Jose Garcia?
Yes, sir.
I enjoy being.
Make an easy one.
I enjoy being a teacher.
Huh?
I enjoy being a teacher.
Enjoy being a teacher?
No, no.
I enjoy being a teacher.
Yes.
So start with you.
Didn't you?
No.
Is that
You
past?
enjoy being a teacher?
Don't you?
Don't you?
Don't you? There we go.
Don't you?
Right. So, Mr. Webb, you enjoy being a teacher, don't you?
Don't you?
That's right. I do. You enjoy being a teacher, don't you? Don't you? You enjoy, simple present, don't you? That question. All right. Let's see. Elida.
Yes.
Let's see. I have lived in LA for a long time.
Have you?
Have you?
You've been living in LA, don't you?
Should I say don't or haven't?
Haven't you?
Haven't you, right? Haven't you? Because my main statement was you have, right?
Oh, yes.
You have been living in LA for a long time, haven't
yeah.
you? You have been living in LA for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah.
All right. Jennifer,
Yes.
are you awake? No, we have to be nice to Jennifer. She's sick and she's still coming to class.
Oh.
Yeah, so she deserves a special prize today.
I have plans.
All right. Okay. So Jennifer, let's see. Let's see. I am working in the evening. I am working in the evening. So you're going to start, you are.
Don't you?
No,
Well,
no.
well, let's start with the
Are
statement.
you?
You are.
You are working in the evening?
You are working in the evening,
Don't
Aren't you?
aren't you?
you?
Aren't you? You're working in the evening, aren't you? That's right, I am. That's correct.
Are you? Are you?
Aren't you, right? Aren't you?
Aren't.
Okay. Let me see. Edith, did I already ask you or no?
Yes.
I already did, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I'm going to go to Julio.
Yes.
Julio. Let's see. I didn't like that movie. So you're going to say,
You didn't.
you didn't?
Did you?
Didn't you?
You didn't like the movie.
Thank
You
you.
didn't like the movie.
Didn't you?
Did you?
Did you?
Yes.
There we go. Very good. Negative, affirmative, right? So you didn't like that movie, did you?
Did you?
You didn't like
didn't
the
like
movie,
the movie.
did you?
Didn't like that movie. Did you?
All right. Claudia.
Yes.
I have to work tomorrow.
You have to work tomorrow.
Hasn't
Don't
you?
Don't you?
Don't you? Right. It's not present
Hasn't.
perfect. It's simple present, isn't it? Right.
Hasn't you?
Have to. We use do and does. So she was correct. Claudia was absolutely right. She said you have to work tomorrow, don't you? That's right. I do.
Don't you?
Don't you? Remember, have to is do you have to, right? All right. Jing. I'm busy right now.
I'm busy right now.
Do you?
Are you?
So you say you are busy,
right now.
Aren't you?
aren't you?
Yes.
Right. You're really busy, aren't you? You're
Aren't
busy.
you? Oh,
You're
aren't
busy
you?
today, aren't you?
You're busy right now, aren't you?
All right. David Segovia.
Yes, teacher.
My favorite color is blue.
Your
Dodger
favorite
blue.
color. Oh, your favorite color is blue.
Isn't it? Very good. Very good. That's be verb. So we say, isn't it? Your favorite color is blue. Isn't it? Isn't it? Very nice. All right. Let me see. Rita. Rita, let me ask you a question. Let's see. I just bought a computer.
You just bought a computer, aren't you?
Did you?
Is that past or
Don't you?
present?
Don't you?
Don't you?
I just bought.
Did
Past.
Did you? Did you?
Didn't.
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 Didn't you?
Didn't.
Didn't you?
Yeah, you just bought a
Didn't.
computer, didn't you? That's right, I did.
Didn't.
Right? Because simple past auxiliary is did. Right? You just bought a computer, didn't you? That's right. I did buy a computer. That's right. I did buy a computer. All right. Guadalupe. Are you ready?
No
Guadalupe.
te oigo, Guadalupe.
Hola.
Lupe,
Are you ready?
she not here.
I don't think her microphone is on.
Yeah, microphone is off probably. Her microphone.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have to skip you. Isadora. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Isadora. Let's see. I haven't been sleeping well lately.
You haven't.
I
Have
haven't
you?
been sleeping well lately. So you're going to say you haven't.
You haven't. Have you?
You haven't been sleeping well, have you? Right? You haven't been sleeping well, have you?
Have you?
Have you?
A little tricky, huh?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
more than a little. More than a little.
Tricky.
Now I think this might be easier if we looked at it on paper. Okay, so I'm going to open up my book here, and I'm going to make it so we can write in it. Okay, let me see here. Here we go. All right. Okay, one moment. Okay, got to push one more button, and then I can show you this, and then we'll do this practice, and then we'll be done for tonight. And then I'll give you some practice to do online after this. Okay, let me see here. Got to go to this screen. Okay, and share my screen. Here we go, and we're going to go to right here. Okay, All right, can everybody see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so again, we have to look very carefully at one side, and then we're going to make a sentence in the other side. So the first one says the cat has been running around the neighborhood for the last hour. What can we say?
Hasn't he?
Hasn't he?
It's hasn't.
Hasn't he?
Hasn't it, right?
Hasn't it.
So we have has over here, and we have hasn't over here. Has and hasn't. Affirmative and negative.
Yes.
All right. The next one. You don't understand this lesson.
Don't you?
Do you?
Do
you?
you?
Don't you?
Do you?
Do you?
Do you?
Do you, right? You don't, do you? It's always the opposite, right? You don't, do you?
Do you?
You don't understand, do you? All right. Now the next one is about Greg's Henry. Henry hadn't studied English before he came here. That's past perfect.
Has he?
Hasn't he?
Has he?
Affirmative or negative?
Affirmative.
Affirmative, right. Had he.
Had he.
Right. Henry hadn't studied English before he came here. Had he? Hadn't, had. Hadn't, had. All right. The next one says Greg's tooth is being drilled by the dentist at the moment. The tooth is.
Isn't it?
Isn't it? Exactly. Isn't it? Is, isn't. All right. Number 5. We won't have any class next Monday.
Will we?
Will you?
Will we?
Will have.
Will we?
Will we?
Will we? We won't. Will we? All right. Next week, Frank will be out of town.
Won't he?
Won't he?
Won't he?
Won't he?
He. Frank will be out of town. Won't he? Will, won't. Always opposite. Affirmative, negative. Negative, affirmative. Jim saw an accident on his way to work this morning.
Did
He?
Should we say did or didn't?
Didn't he?
Didn't he?
Didn't he?
Didn't he? Right? He saw an accident on his way to work this morning. Didn't he? Past, past negative. Past affirmative, past negative. He saw an accident, didn't he?
Didn't he?
All right, next one. Henry isn't from Alabama.
Is he?
Is he?
Is he? Right, is he?
Is he?
He isn't from Alabama, is he? There are 50 questions on the test.
Aren't they?
Aren't there?
They
Aren't there, right?
Aren't there?
aren't there.
Oops. Aren't there? There are, aren't there?
Aren't
There are, aren't there? Next one is simple present. Simple present. You owe Jacob some money.
Don't you?
you?
Don't you?
Don't you?
You owe Jacob's money, don't you? That's true. I do owe him some money. All right. Number 11. Mrs. Schultz has never yelled at the children.
Hasn't she?
Hasn't he?
Well, so hold on. This one has
Hasn't she?
never over here. So this one is negative,
Hasn't.
right?
Oh, has never.
Has she?
Has
she?
Has
Has
she?
she?
Has she?
Right.
Oh,
Has she?
Yeah. Because this one is has never.
Yes. Yeah, has never. Has negative.
So it's negative. Has never. So it's negative.
Has never. Has she?
All right.
Brad.
Brad sits. Simple present, right?
Yes.
Brad sits in the same chair for every class.
Doesn't he?
Doesn't he? Right.
Doesn't he?
He.
Doesn't he? He sits in the same chair for every class. Doesn't he? Number 13. Flora wore a pretty dress yesterday.
Didn't
She.
Does she?
Didn't, right?
Did she?
Didn't.
Didn't.
Didn't she?
Didn't
Okay.
she?
Didn't she?
Didn't she? Annie hasn't talked to his family at all since last week.
Has he?
has she? Has he?
Isn't he?
Has he? Right.
Isn't he?
Has
Oh,
has
he?
he?
Oh, has
Has he? Has
Has
he?
he?
Has he? Number 15, sorry. 10 years from now, my son will be attending high school.
Won't
he?
he?
Won't he?
Won't he?
Won't he?
Won't he?
He?
Won't he?
Won't he? You got it. Won't he?
Oh, won't he?
Number 16. This computer isn't being used at the moment.
Is
Is
it?
it?
Is
it?
it? Is
Is
it?
it?
Is it?
Is it?
Isn't? Is.
Yes.
Next one is future. You will help me do my homework tonight.
When you.
Won't you?
Won't you?
Won't you?
Won't you?
Won't you? You will? Won't you? Number 18. The Nationals didn't play very well last season.
Did he?
Did it?
Did they?
Did they?
Did they?
Did they?
Did they? They didn't, did they? Negative, affirmative. Negative, affirmative. Number 19. All next week,
This.
the students will be reviewing for the final exam. Will.
Won't they?
Won't they?
You're getting
Won't
this.
they?
You're getting this. Won't
Won't they?
they?
One day.
The students will be reviewing for the final exam, won't they? That's right. All right. Mr. Lambert hasn't gotten much exercise since he started working.
Has he?
Has he?
Has he?
Has he? He hasn't gotten much exercise since he started working. Has he? Nope, not too much. All right. Next one is past continuous. Ivan was working in the yard when it started to rain.
Wasn't he?
Wasn't he?
Wasn't he?
Wasn't he? Excellent. Number 22 says, Jim is going to write a letter to Mr. Adams.
Isn't
Isn't he?
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 Isn't he? Number 23. We have been waiting for over 25 minutes for the bus.
Haven't we?
Haven't we?
Haven't we?
Won't we?
Haven't we? And two more. 24. The living room won't be painted tomorrow.
Will it?
Will it?
Will
Will
it?
Will be? Will be?
Will it?
It.
Will it? Will it?
And the last one, Jim can't swim very well.
Can
Can
he?
he?
Can
Can
he?
he?
Can he?
Can
Can
he?
Does he?
Can he?
He can't, can he? He can't, can he? Whew. A little tricky, huh?
Yeah.
More than a little. More than a little. All right. I want to show you one more thing from my presentation, and then we're going to be done for tonight, okay? All right. Can everybody see the presentation?
Yes.
Exceptions and answers. When somebody asks you a tag question, sometimes people get confused. Here's a rare exception. The tag for I am statements is aren't I, right? Because we don't have a negative contraction for I'm not, right? So you're going to say instead, aren't I? For the negative. It looks weird to say aren't I, but it's correct. So for example, I am in Mr. Stevens' class, aren't I? It sounds strange, it sounds weird, but we say aren't. The negative tag question and the negative question is aren't I? Right? So if I say, I am your friend, aren't I? I'm your friend, aren't I? Right? I'm on the schedule tomorrow, aren't I? Right? When it's I am, we make that little exception. We say, aren't I?
Aren't I? Aren't
And these other two are less crazy, right? We had one of these already. We have there are, aren't there. Right? Not aren't they, but aren't there. And whenever you have this or that, you're going to say it.
Isn't it?
I'm not going to say isn't this. I'm going to say isn't it. This is the train to Seattle, isn't it? And remember, you answer a tag question like any other question. So if someone says, you work in this building, don't you? Yes, I do. That's correct. That's right. Yes, I do. Right? Sometimes if somebody asks you a negative, you want to say yes, but because the information is correct, but don't say yes. So for example, if I say to Ching, I say, Ching, you're not Japanese, are you?
Yes, I do.
You're not Japanese, are you?
Yes, I am.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I'm not.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Right? Maybe you need to check your birth certificate. Check. I'm pretty sure you're from Taiwan. Right? So if I say you're not Japanese, are you? That's correct, right?
Yeah.
But the tricky part is you say no.
I'm not.
No, I'm not. Right? If somebody says something negative that is correct, the answer to that is no. So for example, if I say, for example, today isn't Saturday, is it? Today
It's not correct.
Today is not
No, it's
Saturday, is it?
No.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
No, it is.
No, it isn't.
No, it isn't.
Right. So
No,
just
it is.
answer the tag question like you answer every question in English. Right? The end. Your English is better now, isn't it? I hope so. I hope a little bit better.
A little bit.
A little bit, maybe tiny little bit better. All right. Okay, good. All right. So that's tag questions. And if you have time this week, see if you can do that chapter 9 and chapter 10 test. Because there are, I think, 5 tag questions on there. 5 tag questions. So take a look at that if you have time. And then tomorrow we're going to wrap back around to the beginning of the book. And because we haven't talked about the beginning of the book since August. My goodness. That was a long time ago. Remember August when we could walk around and touch things all we wanted? It was nice, huh? You could shake hands with somebody, give them a hug, a kiss, no problem.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. No hugs, no kisses, no handshakes. We only salute, right? That's all.
Yes.
That's all we could do is, or Wakanda forever, right? That's all we can do. All right. So anyway, we're going to go back to the beginning of the book because we haven't studied that stuff for a long time, not since August. And if you're just joining the class, claro, you haven't studied it. So it's going to be a review for the people who were here at the beginning, and it's going to be new for the people who just joined the level. So we're going to go back to the beginning of the book. So we're going to look starting tomorrow at chapter 1. And the key point in chapter 1 is the difference between an adjective and an adverb. A lot of people get those two mixed up because they're both used for descriptions, but we're describing two different things. Adjectives describe a noun, adverbs describe a verb. So that's the difference. And we'll talk about that more mañana. All right, we're out of time, aren't we? I think so. So that's it for tonight. Again, if you have time, maybe if you have time right now when you log off, go ahead and see if you can do that chapter test in the Schoology page. Okay? All right? Preguntas? Problemas?
No.
No.
No, I promise we'll have time to talk tomorrow. We didn't have much time. That was a long presentation today. But we'll have more time to talk tomorrow. Yes, question?
I have a question. I did it, but I had 14 wrong.
Yeah, you can do it again. You can do it up to 5 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can do it up to 5 times. In fact, I want you to do it again if you make mistakes.
Okay.
Right? Make mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and do it again. Your score will be your best score.
All right.
So if you get the first one, if you make a lot of mistakes on the first one, look carefully, write down your answers, think about why you got a mistake, and then take it again. No problem. You can take it 5 times. You don't have to take it 5 times, but it's possible to take each test 5 different times for practice. So a good idea is like take it once, learn about it, take it again, and then maybe in 3 weeks, take it a 3rd time. And then toward the end of the semester, take it again to see if you remember everything, right?
Okay. Cool.
Because of course, if you take it tomorrow and then you take it again on Wednesday, you're not going to forget very much in one day, right? But if you take it 3 weeks later, that's a good test to see if you remember what you learned. Okay?
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. See you
All right,
tomorrow.
no problem. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good night.
And
you as well.
And we'll move on tomorrow back to the beginning, chapter 1. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great night. Hasta la vista, baby.
Bye.
No drinking and driving. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.
See you, teacher. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for coming. Good luck, Chin. Keep working hard.
Okay, I will.
You poor guy.